In episode Revenant, Bungie added the new exotic Titan boots called Blastwave Striders, which are a blast to use. They also added the Salvation's Grip catalyst, which allows you to get frost armor upon defeating a frozen target or destroying a stasis crystal. The combination of these two allows for a very, very enjoyable build that's actually very strong in a lot of different activities. The artifact perks for this episode also make this build even better. Now let's jump straight into it. Now for the subclass, we'll be running Rally Barricade. However, you can use the Towering Barricade if you want. This is just my preference. Now for the melee, we'll be using the Shiver Strike melee, as it is the only option. For the grenade, we'll be using the Glacier Grenade, as this is the main part of the build that you will be utilizing, as you'll be shattering tons of enemies constantly. For the first aspect, we'll be using Cryoclasm. This is going to allow you to slide and destroy tons of stasis crystals and frozen targets around you. The second aspect is Tectonic Harvest. This will allow you to create stasis shards upon defeating a frozen target or shattering a stasis crystal. The Tectonic Harvest shards will also grant you frost armor upon pickup. The first fragment is Whisper of Fissures. Increases the damage and size of the burst of stasis when you destroy a stasis crystal or defeat a frozen target. The second fragment is Whisper of Bonds. Defeating frozen targets generates an orb of power. The next fragment is Whisper of Shards. Shattering a stasis crystal temporarily boosts your grenade recharge rate. Shattering additional crystals increases the duration of this benefit. Now you will be utilizing this a ton, as the entire build is centered around shattering stasis crystals. For the final fragment, we'll be using Whisper of Rime. Your frost armor has increased duration and maximum stat count. This will be your primary survivability tool, as you'll be able to take even more damage for a longer period. Next, let's talk about the artifact perks that make this build so much better. Firstly, we have One with Frost. While frost armor is active, stasis weapons gain increased reload speed and stability. Stasis swords gain increased guard resistance. The next perk is Rapid Impacts. Dealing damage with a grenade launcher temporarily increases the reload speed of grenade launchers. Now, as Salvation's Grip has a pretty slow reload, this artifact perk is going to allow you to reload your GL much faster, allowing for less stagnant gameplay. The next one is Crystalline Converter. Gather stasis shards to gain stacks of Crystalline Converter. Your next powered stasis melee hit creates stasis crystals equal to the number of stacks you have. Now the boost is Stasis Weapon Final Blows. After activating your class ability, spawn a stasis shard. The next perk is The Thick of It. Rapid Final Blows while surrounded grant you armor charge. Next is Armor of Aramis. While frost armor is active, taking critical damage from combatants causes you to emit a freezing burst. The boost is increased radius and strength of this freezing burst. Next is Hail the Storm. Shattering stasis crystals releases shards of ice that damage and slow targets. The boost is Shattering frozen targets and stasis crystals deals increased damage. Next is Concussive Reload. Using a grenade launcher to damage a boss, champion, or break a combatant shield weakens them. The boost is Using grenade launchers to damage bosses, champions, or to break combatant shields automatically reload stowed weapons. Next is Curative Orbs. The first time you break a target shield or break the shield of a guardian using their super, you create an Orb of Power. The boost is Picking up an Orb of Power, an elemental pickup, or a tangle grants you a small amount of health. And yes, this does apply to stasis shards. Lastly, we have Brain Freeze. Frozen combatants become surrounded by chilling fog, which slows combatants that aren't already. Weapons with the Dark Ether Reaper origin trait deal more damage to frozen combatants. Now that we've gone over the artifact perks and the subclass, let's talk about the armor mods. Firstly, on the helmet, we have Heavy Ammo Finder, Heavy Ammo Scout, and a Harmonic Siphon, which in this case will be Stasis Siphon, which you will be utilizing with the Salvation's Grip. On the gauntlets, we run Momentum Transfer, Impact Induction, and Grenade Kickstart. On the chest piece, run 3 damage resistance mods of your choice, depending on the activity. On your boots, run Recuperation, Better Already, and Stacks on Stacks, or Elemental Charge, your preference. On the class item, run Bomber, Powerful Attraction, and Reaper. Now, the stats you want to prioritize with this build are Tier 10 Resilience, Tier 8 Discipline, and Tier 8 Strength. Now, obviously, any more than that would be great, but you need to make sure Resilience is at least Tier 10, and Discipline and Strength are at least Tier 8, ideally, so that you can quickly chain your abilities and have even more damage resistance. Now, a short rundown of the gameplay loop. Essentially, with this build, you're going to want to be using your grenade and Salvation's Grip as much as possible, and sliding around the map with Cryoclasm to make sure that you're shattering those crystals and enemies, which generate stasis shards, which allow you to get your abilities back and health back. This build is so much fun to use, especially with all the frost armor stacks you can get. You can run around like an absolute tank really quickly and efficiently and wipe out entire waves of enemies in seconds. Thank you so much for watching today's video. My name is Novers, and I really hope you enjoyed. Consider subscribing and turning on the post notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. Also, dropping a like and commenting would support the channel a ton, and let me know what you would like to see in the future. We are pushing towards 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, so any support is greatly appreciated. Hope you have a great rest of your day, Guardians, and peace.